Hello and welcome to Here Tutoring. In this video series, we're going to talk about the best strategies for the ACT English test. To start, we're going to talk about the principle that the ACT just loves to test on the ACT English section. And the principle is this: less is usually better. For the ACT English test, you're going to see a lot of questions where the answer is simply the shortest out of all the choices. So, as you go through the ACT English test, constantly keep the principle of less is usually better in mind. Or to put it another way, when in doubt, leave it out. If a word or phrase is not necessary, you should either omit it or leave it out when you're considering the answer choices. Now, here are some examples of ACT English questions where the principle less is usually better applies. First, take a look at this question. The sentence is, the rule might seem a good one, but the children can't remember to hold up the ball. The choices are A, no change, B, regulation size ball, C, ball which is regulation size, and D, ball which is the same size as a regular baseball. Some students get confused by questions like this because technically all the choices work and are correct grammatically. But what the ACT is testing here isn't grammar, but rather effective writing. So the question you should ask here is, which choice says what is needed and nothing more? Well, 3 of the choices mention the ball being regulation sized, which should immediately raise red flags for at least 2 reasons. Reason number 1, this information is completely unnecessary and extra in the context of the passage, so we should eliminate them. The first choice, no change, makes complete sense, so there is no need to add or change anything. And second, all 3 of these choices are saying the exact same thing, which means we can eliminate all 3 of them since it's impossible to have an answer that's saying the same thing as another choice. Now, let's take a look at a second example. Take a look at this sentence. After a certain age, many Americans I know would balk, refuse, and hesitate at the idea of adding a year or 2 to what they regard as their actual age. The choices are A, no change, B, balk and hesitate, C, refuse and balk, and D, balk. Like with the last question, there is nothing wrong grammatically with any of these choices. However, balk, refuse, and hesitate are basically saying the same thing, so we only need one of these words. Out of these 4 choices, only choice D contains just one of the words, so that's the correct answer. To summarize, the principle that less is usually better is something that you should constantly keep in mind as you go through the ACT English test, because it shows up repeatedly, and there are questions that try to trick you with choices that are correct grammatically and sound good, but have extra, unnecessary information in them, and so they are wrong. This is probably the most common concept that shows up on the ACT English test, so it's a really important one to remember and practice as you take ACT English practice tests. In the next video, we are going to talk about how much of the ACT English passages you should actually read. Should you skip to the underlined parts, or should you read the parts in between them also? Thanks for watching, and I will see you there.